Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 23 of the Survival Project. Today's episode is one that had me quite emotional during the recording because it is very hard to hear some of the stories that Sam has to tell. And if it's hard to hear, imagine how hard it is for the people in Africa that are actually suffering through it. Today, I'm joined by Sam Yiollaris, the founder of Footprints to Africa. After Sam was diagnosed with colorectal cancer and lived with a stoma herself, Sam learned of thousands of people across Africa undergoing life-saving stoma surgery and then being sent home without access to basic supplies. A bit of information that Sam supplied that 90 stoma nurses for 850,000 patients really sends a message home. For Sam, what began as packing a suitcase of surplus supplies has now grown into a volunteer-led charity, redistributing thousands of medical supplies, restoring dignity, and quite literally changing lives. So, let's get into it. Sam, welcome to the Survival Project. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks, Jonathan.
I've recently come across the work you did, and my God, it is powerful work. And for anyone who might not know Footprints Africa, what's the core mission of the work you do?
So I'm going to start by saying that I'm Sam Yiollaris and I'm the founder of Footprints to Africa. In March 2024, I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer and I had a stoma for a year and had a successful reversal in December. And through that is the reason why Footprints to Africa is here. And so what we do is we collect surplus bowel and bladder medical supplies across the UK. And we redistribute them down to under-resourced hospitals across Africa and to registered organizations. And saving medical waste is a big thing for us as well, and restoring dignity at the same time.
Yeah, it's a real triple threat because you're covering so many bases there. Medical waste, filling a space that, oh my God, is such a necessity, and giving people back dignity, which is just such a powerful thing to be able to do. Was there any kind of moment or experience that really pushed you into seeing the need for the work you do?
Absolutely. So when I had my reversal, I had a very, very high output eolostomy and I had a lot of supplies left over. At that time, I didn't know anything about charities and, organizations that collect this type of stuff. I'm very one for saving and just not, wasting. And so I'm originally from South Africa. I'm very blessed to be in the UK, I might add. So I kind of looked around and I couldn't find anything here in the UK. I don't think I was probably looking hard enough. But I then got hold of an organization in South Africa and my kids were going down there for a holiday. And the aim of the game was to, pack these supplies in a suitcase and send it off. And that was the whole idea. It was just a good deed and pack the suitcase and get it down to people that needed it. So my kids came back and dropped off the supplies, came back, and they said that the response was so overwhelming. It actually brought my daughter to tears. As simple as a small bag, a stoma bag. She just couldn't understand how people would be so emotional about these supplies. So for my 50th birthday, I decided last year to actually go and see it for my own eyes. So I got into a plane, went down. I worked with an amazing team on the ground, went into under-resourced hospital. And I think that's where it grabbed me. I sat with ostomates. We cried, we hugged, we spoke. And it went on for 3 days. And I got to see the real crisis of how people are suffering, using tins and disposable nappies and rags and plastic bags. And for the life of me, it was so emotional. I just could not understand how, oh gosh, even talking about it, I get so emotional, how people could live like that. And I think for that reason, it grabbed me. And when I came back, I knew that, I had to continue with this.
I can imagine how emotional it was because I've only seen imagery, and much like you there, even when you're talking, I can feel myself get quite emotional. The imagery that I've seen really reiterates in my life how unbelievably privileged I am. But like when we all go through stoma surgery, we realize how painful and hard it is. But then not to have access to supplies afterwards is a living nightmare. So what you're doing is amazing.
I was able to put myself in their shoes. And I think having that stoma for a year, um, I just thought I'm so blessed to be here in the UK. I think if I was back down in South Africa at home, I probably would have been part of the stats. Stoma bags are very, very expensive. Just not having stoma supplies, yeah, it's it's quite hectic.
We're so privileged here that the mind boggles. You think, how could you possibly not have access to you? You were able to get the surgery. How do you not have the equipment to better your life afterwards? It's very hard to process. You know? Is there any particular case studies that you can share with us of any people that you've been able to help and lives you've been able to change?
Oh, absolutely. So we've got hundreds of stories. I think there's two stories that stick out for me. In December, we had a campaign called the Advent of Hope. We decided to put some bags together and send it to people, all over the show, that needed supplies and that could get them through Christmas. The feedback that we got from that campaign was absolutely astounding, and it brought tears to our team's eyes. People writing and saying, this is the first Christmas in a long time that they have been able to sit at a Christmas table with loved ones and have a Christmas meal because they don't smell and they're, not rejected and they're not isolated or shunned. So yeah, I think that was one of the biggest things for us was, being able to change people's lives and get them connected with family around about Christmas. The second one was recently we just worked with a little boy, 9 years old, in Zambia. There's never been to school, can't go to school because he doesn't have consistent supplies, and he's smelling all the time. Started supplying him with supplies, and Granny has now gone in and is in the process of enrolling him, and he is so excited. So with that, we are down, in April, we're down to Zambia, so we're going to actually go meet him. We've had one of our team members that have got together and got him some school shoes and some school supplies, and so he's on his way, and yeah, for us that's just a great thing, to go and to get an education and be with mates and go and enjoy yourself as a child. So yeah.
Yeah. To give that child dignity, to like
Oh,
even the
absolutely.
thought. Someone with a stoma didn't think of the smell aspect. I just thought the access to supplies is horrible, but obviously when you don't have access to supplies, you're exposed. Like for something I should have known straight off the bat would be a problem. Only for you saying it, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, jeez, that poor little young man, only 9 years old and having to go through all that. For people who hear these stories and want to help out and see what they can do, what can they do to assist?
Well, just donate your stoma supplies if you've got. There's many things that you can help us. Getting stoma supplies and then surplus instead of throwing it away is a great thing for us. It saves lives, it changes lives, it restores dignity, it gets people into work. So that is our biggest thing. Sharing a post, a simple thing. If you haven't got surplus supplies, go on social media and share our posts. It will reach someone and someone will be able to assist us.
It's fantastic work that you do. I when I came across it and I saw the imagery, oh my God, there's not many things now in my life that have really shocked me to the core, and that was one of them. Starting a charity, I imagine, is not easy. What are the main kind of challenges that you've kind of faced at the start, and what kind of challenges are you facing through now?
Well, I think we're still in early days. We were only founded last year in February and registered in July last year. But challenges are very practical. Shipping costs and international logistics are significant. Storage space is always constant pressure for us. Customs sometimes can be a nightmare, especially going into the African countries. Not many people are educated on stoma care, and they don't know what it is. As well as we're 100% volunteer-led charity, so there's 6 of us. We all have full-time jobs. We all got kids. Some are single moms, and majority of us have health conditions. Try and work our way around. But I think the real challenge is it's real, but it's also the impact. And I think those and fundraising is for us a big thing as well, because all our money that we get into fundraising goes towards shipping the supplies down.
I know in Ireland, so I wouldn't be good on a hands-on volunteer aspect. But for anyone listening in the UK, they can reach out to you and contact. Perfect.
You go on Just Giving as well. You can, just link up to us there and, to open a fundraising page if you like.
Okay. Absolutely fantastic. This work is, both of us are quite emotional talking about it, so there's such a personal aspect to it. How do you find it to manage, I suppose, the emotional toll of the work you do?
Well, it's definitely changed me deeply. I definitely see dignity differently. I think when I was living with my stoma, my confidence depended a lot, on having the right supplies. My day was worked around there. I couldn't work for majority of 2024 because of my condition. And so when I meet people who don't have consistent supplies, I understand that because I think I understand those emotions. I sometimes sit back and think, with all the emotions that I had in that period of my life, if I didn't have any supplies, oh gosh, I'm not sure where my mind would have been, to put it that way. But I'm incredibly blessed. Being here in the UK, I had an excellent medical team. I'm so grateful to my care team. I was really blessed. I've got also an amazing support system. I've got a fantastic husband, great friends, great kids. So yeah, but not everybody has that pathway. you know. Um, so the awareness has brought both deep gratitude and also a real sense of responsibility.
Yeah, I can imagine, because like going through stomach surgery and everything is so hard, and we gain such a mental strength from it, and thankfully we have people around us to help us. But these people are isolated and still have the strength to keep going without the access to the supplies which give you dignity. Like they're such strong human beings, and it's something else to just try and do the work to get there, to give them the dignity that they absolutely deserve. What has been the hardest thing that you've witnessed through the work you've done?
I think the hardest thing is realizing that a lot of the suffering is preventable, not because treatment doesn't exist, but because access to basic supplies don't. I also think simply of having the right stoma bag. When people don't have that, people start withdrawing. They isolate. They're rejected. They avoid work. A lot of people we see and come across the community that we work with, days on end being rejected and isolated, even family members, because family members are not educated to know about it. I think in most in the countries in Africa that we come across, looking at South Africa, there's only 90 qualified stoma nurses in the country, and there's an estimation of 850,000 ostomates. The operations are being done, the procedures are being done, and the ostomate is not even, told on how to manage a stoma. So I think that is the hardest thing for us, is for them to leave the hospital not knowing what now, what next. Not having the supplies. I mean, no one should feel shame because they can't access medical supplies. Medical condition should never take away someone's dignity.
One thing that I find it so hard to comprehend is the fact that the access to the surgeries exists, but then there's no follow up. I can't wrap my head around it. It's obviously clearly the problem that exists, and 90 stoma nurses for 850,000 is insanity.
The procedures are getting done more often. It's almost like giving somebody 2 blocks of toilet paper and saying, well, Bob's your uncle, this is your lot for the month. It's the same with the ostomate there. They're given 2 bags and told, well, that's it, come back in a month's time. Not having that education of how to work the stoma bag. So you can just imagine how they're processing all of this when they get home. And then the toll it's having on the carers, the husband, the family. Yeah, I think that's that is, the hardest thing that we see.
Yeah, it's a daily torment for the people experiencing it, and not just them, the family, the friends around them. It's torturous. And what particularly is the reason for the stomas? Is it IBD cases? Is it more down cancer?
I think a lot has to do with cancer. The most that we hear from is usually cancer related.
And is it a wide range of people? Do you find that there's a specific demographic, or is it just kind of across the board when it comes to age groups?
Well, I just think it's across the board.
Yeah.
We're working with young people, children, elderly, students, different ages, different races.
Do you get the opportunity to go to Africa regularly?
Well, last year was the first time in 7 years, and that was for my 50th birthday. And I that was amazing for me. Turning 50, and I was in the air and going to something that I knew would change my life. And I've been very fortunate to be able to go this year again in April. So we are doing 3 days in Zambia and about 10 days in South Africa, and hopefully next year we'll be able to go again. And I think next year we want to go into Malawi and take a group of Stoma nurses actually with us
Okay,
the
right.
next time around. So we are looking at that for next year.
Yeah, that's absolutely great to see the plans and the ability for expansion. Because my next question was going to be, is it just specifically South Africa and Zambia that you focus on at the minute?
No, so
Huh.
we actually all over the show at the moment. So we're in Morocco. We're in Tanzania. We have just got into Malawi, which is really exciting for us. We're in Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa. So wherever the need is, but obviously it comes with great challenges, trying to organize logistics and, the pathways into the different countries.
Yeah, and with such a small team, and you both work full time, have kids, as you said, like there's so much to be trying to get done.
Absolutely. I mean, to date, we were doing the stats the other day, over 40,000 medical supplies that we've saved from landfill. That's almost 1.5 tons of medical waste from landfill, and the lives that are changing. And I think the biggest thing for Footprints as well is we're not just a once-off. We don't just come and help you once off and then walk away. We, walk that journey with you, and we are consistent with you.
Do you are you in the position where you'll need a bigger team to kind of expand the workload? How is that kind of structured?
We're based on volunteers, so we've got volunteers all over the show. But there's six of us, and but we have different volunteers, around the UK that collect for us, that do some admin work for us, even ropes in the husbands and the kids. And so it's open for all. We want it to be a community-based project. We certainly don't want to leave the idea of being 100% volunteer led. We rather enjoy that, and it's working well for us. Yeah, and anybody is welcome to join our team. Just give us a shout and give us an email, and there's always a job. There's always
Yeah.
something that you can do. Even if it's just collecting supplies or being a collection point, a drop-off point, going and, we're always looking for drivers, doing some admin work, thank you letters. There's always something for you to do.
So there's even ability if you're not in the area, you can work remotely to kind of
Oh,
help push forward
absolutely.
things.
We've got someone in Australia that's doing work for us as well. We utilize all different skills, and we'll find a job for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll find a job for you.
So for anyone who's thinking, I have access to excess stoma supplies, is there any kind of do's and don'ts of sending in a donation?
Well, we don't accept shops, and we don't accept medication, but we we take in pre-cuts and bags that haven't been cut. So no, anything's welcome. Anything bowel, bladder related, incontinence, adult pads, and we're also doing menstrual pads as well. We're actually going into an orphanage when we're down in South Africa, where we are handing out. I think there's about 50 young people that we'll be giving dignity bags to, filled with some menstrual pads as well.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Yeah, you're really
Yeah.
covering all the bases because I know my sister went to Africa years ago. This is at least 7 years ago, and she volunteered in an orphanage. But she was going, mom gave her coloring pencils and she handed them out to the kids. And she said it was the first time she ever saw what true joy was because they'd never had coloring pencils before. She obviously got overcome with emotion. She's like, oh my God, I'll get thousands of these sent over, no problem. And the guy at the orphanage was like, "There's no point. They'll get halfway here or they'll disappear. It's very hard to get the logistics to get them right to here." Which that story has always stuck with me because unfathomable to think of when you live with such privilege. When it
And
comes
that's also one of the reasons. Sorry to interrupt you there, Jonathan.
no fire.
That's one of the reasons why we are very strict with the partners that we work with. So we only work with registered organizations and and registered hospitals. We've had a lot of people message us asking for stoma supplies, but not all of those people are true to their word, unfortunately. So we do ask for a lot of documentation, and we're happy to help as long as we know that it's going to the right people.
Yeah, and that's a very frustrating part of the world to think that there would be not just pure honesty, or there might be, ulterior motives. For anyone who's listening today and they're feeling a bit remote and they might want to do some kind of fundraising work, I know you mentioned about Just Giving. Do you do like marathons, stuff like that, or is it just completely up to the individual what they want to do?
Well, we are learning as we go, so we're still learning about all these marathon runs and walks. And so I've got to be honest, we're not really so clued up on it, but we're happy to learn along the way. We've had one or two people do a couple of marathon runs, and we're still investigating and looking how we can do that. But if anyone's got any ideas, they're more than welcome to drop me a line, drop me an email and have a chat. And yeah, we're open to, we're really a fun, great, humble team, and we're happy to look into anything that we can all work together for the best of, and, the good of the people that we serve.
Yeah, absolutely. The common goal is just you need to get fundraising, you need to get products. So we'll get the word out there as much as possible. Are there any other elements to charity that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, so yesterday we walked into the SGS college. Really, really special initiative for us. That was really fantastic, and it's becoming a permanent fixture towards our charity now. It's our way of giving back. I think it gets difficult for us to give back to our people here at home because we are so blessed with the NHS and people not running around with these plastic bags around their tummies or disposable nappies. So we are always looking at how we can give back to our own people here. So we have gone into a structured partnership with the SGS College, which is absolutely fantastic. We had such a wonderful day. And it's all about education and, speaking and educating about hidden disabilities, working with eye coordination and counting skills, and even a little bit of geography thrown in, getting out a map and showing people where you actually live and where the supplies are going to, educating about stoma care. So we had a fantastic day yesterday. And with that being said, that's a ongoing, initiative that we're getting involved in. Yeah, we've got another packing day coming out in June. So I don't know if you had a look at our last packing day. That was fantastic. It was such a great day. We brought in about 25 people from all over the show that just joined us, got stuck in, and it was fantastic. So we've got that. And then, of course, the outreach that's happening. That's really exciting. We got into 3 different hospitals now into South Africa, as well as an orphanage that we're going into. So great things are going to come out of that. We've got exciting things. Sent, I think it's over 500 kgs worth of stoma supplies that's on ship. And by the time we get there, that will be there, as well as a good couple of people that's taking suitcases over with them. Yes. And for us, I think for me personally, I'm going with my husband. So I'm really excited about that. He's a great pillar of strength for me. And the two of us are going to go into Zambia. And I think we are so excited for that. Never been to Zambia. We are going to specifically reach people that are lost and forgotten. So the people that are really hiding in very remote villages are the ones that we're looking for. We are really excited to go there and see people and touch people and then give them supplies and lots of hugs and talking and drinking lots of tea and cake. So yeah.
Gotta have the tea and cake. Gotta have the tea
Yeah,
and
you
cake.
can't forget the
Yeah.
tea and cake.
But I think that having that really, the human aspect of it, the actual connection and seeing them in person is a beautiful thing. And I'm sure all this is very costly to kind of do. I'm sure going to Africa isn't a cheap trip to make. So it's fantastic that you're taking the time to go and get the boots on the ground. When it comes to long-term success for the endeavors you're trying to achieve, what does that look like for you?
So success for us is a stoma nurse not turning their patients away, a mom that can hug their children and their husband, have an intimate relationship with their husband, without being embarrassed, or shunted away because they don't have supplies. So that is our success. Hopefully in my age and day, I will get, to see things change. But that is for us is that's where we're heading with our success at the moment. We're just wanting to, really just be consistent, get to a place where stoma nurses don't have to turn their patients away. and families don't have to, and individuals don't have to be shunted and rejected and isolated.
When you speak there about the intimacy and the being shunted, like that's obviously such a domino effect to not having access to supplies. We can say the word isolation and you think, oh, someone's on their own or whatever. But when you really break down the little nuggets and all the little problems that come, like not being able to sit and eat dinner with your family, not being able to be intimate with a loved one, whether that intimacy is even just a hug, like that is, I actually don't really have any words for how horrible that must be for the people experiencing it. So, yeah, the work you're doing is just giving dignity back to human beings who just deserve the bare basics of being able to hug someone or sit at dinner.
And the thing is, they didn't ask to have that stoma. And I think a lot goes down to people just not being educated, not knowing what it's all about, and those people that are really, if you just like really get down to the bottom of it, how they are isolated. Their own children. Mom, you stink. Can you imagine if your mom? I can't give you a hug because you stink. I can't love you because you smell and, you don't have supplies and you're walking around with a plastic bag. Yeah, I think for us, that is, the hardest thing. And we carry that, not many people see that, those messages that we get after hours and the phone calls and the emails. But yeah, it keeps us going.
Yeah.
It keeps us going.
I think for anyone listening to this, it's if you have a stoma yourself, you can really put yourself in the person's shoes. Is there anything that I haven't kind of touched on that you'd like to talk?
No, I think you've kind of touched on everything.
Yeah.
I'm just very happy to be here. So thank you.
Sam, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. And whatever I can do, I'm going to have a brainstorm now and see what I can do. I have a goal where I want to run a marathon by the end of the year. So hopefully now I might be, some people might throw some money at me to punish myself.
Think of us when you go to do your marathon. I wish I could do the marathon, but I don't have that much energy. So I think I'd rather just, collect stoma supplies. So,
100%. You're doing much better work than I am. So Sam, just for anyone who wants to get in contact, could you let us know the contact details through Instagram or email?
Yeah, we're active on Instagram. We're active on social media. We're on LinkedIn. We've got a website, https I think it's www.footprints-to-africa.org.uk. So give us a shout, but we're all over the show. Just send us a message. And we usually try and respond as soon as we can, but sometimes, with work commitments and health conditions and kids, it sometimes takes us about 2 days or so. But one of us will get hold of you, and yeah, we'll be able to work with you.
Fantastic. And for someone who is not based in the UK but wants to do maybe a bit of a drive to kind of get some supplies together, how would they go about that?
Well, that becomes difficult. We've tried we've had a lot of people in Australia actually get hold of us. We've kind of said to them, right, we'll instead of sending the stuff down to the UK, just send it directly down to South Africa and we'll give you a couple of addresses. But that's proved to be quite a challenge on both parties. It's very expensive on their side, and then as well as the partner down in South Africa has to pay taxes on it. So at the end of the day, you weigh up the taxes that they paid as well as the person that's sending the supplies, you weigh up those funds. Is it really worthwhile sending a box of 20 stoma bags with all the hassles? And of course, it takes forever to get down there as well. So the easiest thing would be to send it to us. We are linked up with G7 Couriers, which is a fantastic organization that help us with our logistics, and we pop it into the boxes, and if we're not shipping it, we're doing air freight, so it will probably be easier to send it to us here as well. And then also the other thing is, like, we check every single supply that comes in, for health and safety reasons, and check that everything is right and all going good.
It's time-consuming work, I imagine, bag by bag. But Sam, it has been absolutely fantastic speaking to you today, and I have to commend you. You're doing absolutely fantastic work, and I know myself, I'm going to try and do whatever I can to assist in some way, and I'm sure plenty of people listening will want to help out too. So definitely, I'm going to drop all the contact details in the description, and we'll see what we can do. It's been an absolute pleasure, and fair play to you. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you, Jonathan. Take care.
That was Sam Yiollaris from Footprints to Africa. And I don't say this lightly. The work she and her team doing is absolutely extraordinary. Over 40,000 medical supplies saved from landfill, over a ton of waste redirected. The core of the work they do is something so simple that every human should have the right to, and that is dignity. The ability to sit at a dinner table with your family, to be able to hug your child, to be able to go to school, to not be isolated because of a medical condition. If you have surplus stoma supplies, please consider donating. Even if you don't, share their work, maybe start a fundraiser, spread awareness, because everything helps. All of Footprints to Africa's details are in the description, and if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone, leave a review, follow the podcast. That's how we grow this movement and keep these conversations going. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next week for episode 24 with sleep expert Tom Goldman.